You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Malones are competitive people. Comes from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Get your school on the network now.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoy today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky, they're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community, embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Hi. Unlimited data, Barry?
Ranked #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Get your school on the network now.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Boston and is distributed by APM, American Public Media.
Support for On Point comes from Loomis Sales, an investment partner working to navigate challenging financial markets around the globe and offering investment strategies to clients worldwide since 1926. Learn more at loomissales.com and prompt.com, with a mission to help students stand out on their college applications through one-on-one application and essay coaching, working with students to help them get into their top choice colleges. More at prompt.com.
Women across Iran have taken to the streets after the death of a young woman in police custody. Their government says it will mercilessly confront them. Dozens have been killed. Neither side is backing down. What's next for the women of Iran and the regime? I'm Kimberly Atkins-Storr. That's coming up Monday on Point.
This forecast is underwritten by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi, providing health and wellness tips on their Facebook page.
An extremely quiet weather pattern across the state of Mississippi. In fact, for the entire region, we have some stormy weather out across the Rockies, trying to get into the plains, and of course we have the remnants of Ian lifting up into parts of the Carolinas, the Virginias, and into parts of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. For us, we are very quiet for a while. Clear tonight, Horn Lake, a low upper 40s. Sunny this weekend with highs each day right around 80. Clear tonight, Greenwood, a low upper 40s. Sunny throughout the weekend with highs in the low 80s. Dry Pascagoula, a low 50. Hitting the low to mid 80s with lots of sunshine for Saturday and for Sunday too. I'm Jennifer Naira Moore. This is Think Radio.
Technical difficulties, but we'll be back to regular programming momentarily.
Up next on Think, all the things we don't actually know about dinosaurs, may never know, and why those unanswered questions are so important.
There we go.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Friday night and another Friday night of high school football in the state of Mississippi. Hello, everyone. I'm George Broadstreet. It's Friday night under the lights. We've been sort of arguing here in the studio whether this is week 5, week 6. Joel, I guess it really doesn't matter. It's just another weekend of Friday night of high school football.
FNUTL, once again, I mean, I'm back also.
Yeah, so glad to have you back.
It was a rough week last week.
You were in the IR last week, but you're the DL, I guess might be the best way to put it. But back with us, George Broadstreet, Russ Robinson will be joining us hopefully in just a few moments. His game just wrapped up. Joel Norris is with me. He'll be giving us our 8-man report a little bit later on in the evening. Chris Saxon, of course, is here as our host and also our engineer, and Ty Bailey is working the phones for us. If you'd like to call us tonight and talk about your team and your game, the number to call is 1-877-MPB-RING. That's 1-877-672-7464. And we've got a host of people we expect to call us tonight. Kerry Metzler from Picayune, Matt Thomas from Prep, Reed Vance from Warren Central, Greg Flynn from Pearl, Ray Coleman from Clinton, Jared Schatz from Germantown High School, Josh West for Tri-County, Josh Craven for Hartfield, and just a whole bunch of other folks. And we'll be here until 12 o'clock tonight and bringing you scores and conversation about this particular Friday night. And Joel, there's some good matchups tonight. I mean, a lot of good games.
The one matchup I would keep an eye on is the Warren Central and Brandon score. I mean, that's probably Brandon's first true tough test right now. Yeah, and I have not seen a score right now. We're trying to track that down, but we will. Of course, we'll have some scores in just a few moments, but if you stick with us, we'll have really a wrap-up of all of the scores of the games played tonight. I think Will's spreadsheet said there was like 150 games tonight. So that's like 150 games. There are well over 300 schools when you include the MHSAA and the MAIS. There are over 300 schools in Mississippi, including your 8-man, that play high school football. So, that's a lot of Friday night under the lights. I mean, there's a lot of it across the state. Let me give you some scores of games. Now, there are a lot of these this is the last Friday night that we're going to have the 7:30 starts in the MHSAA. From here on out, they'll start at 7, so we'll have a lot of finals when we come on the air. But anyway, let's give you what I have right now. Picayune defeated Van Cleve by the score of 49-7. Also, Callaway defeated Jim Hill 47-19. It was Gentry over Yazoo City by the score of 34-7. West Point defeated New Hope 42-7. So there were some high-scoring games tonight. Bogachita defeated West Lincoln 56-28. Newton County over Richland 42-0. McGee won over McLaurin 50-6. It was West Lauderdale 43 and Leake Central 8. Ocean Springs remains undefeated, and kind of impressively so. They defeated DeIberville tonight by the score of 40-0. Velma Jackson has got a good team this year. They shut out Pelahatchie tonight 57-0. Okolona 30, Smithville 8. Raleigh, Ty Boyles, we may get a call from him, we may not, but when Russ is here, he probably will call. But Crystal Springs took it on the chin. Raleigh, who lost to MRA last Friday night, fairly close game. They took it out on Crystal Springs 59-6 tonight. 59-6.
59-6. I don't know if you've ever been on a team that got beat that bad. That's not fun.
Oh no,
that's not fun.
That's a lot of down faces in the locker room.
It really is. But that's happy faces on the other side, I guess. Yeah. Seminary 46, West Marion 6. Some more MAIS scores. Now this is Russ's game, and this was Chris talked about this game. Said Prep got a lot of penalties, but MRA at MRA tonight defeats Prep 26-14. Did you see any of that game?
I saw the last final seconds of the game. I was watching it on my phone, keeping up with it on my phone.
Yeah,
but, there was a lot of penalties, but it was a close game. The Prep kept it close at first, but MRA ran away with it. But
well, I asked Russ several weeks ago. I said, "Is Prep back?" And he said, "Well, it's really a little bit too early to tell." And I'd be interested to kind of hear about, his take on that particular game. But MRA wins by 12, 26-14.
This was Prep's first loss tonight, too. So
yes, it was.
Yeah.
MRA's taken a loss or so because they've had really a very tough schedule. But they win by 12 tonight over Prep tonight at MRA. Tri-County defeats Carroll Academy 26-19. Now, that's close. But Carroll Academy is a pretty good team.
Yeah, they're solid. They're a very solid team. But Tri-County is just, doing really well in 4A right now. So, close game, but, Tri-County right now they're just the team to watch out for.
All right, JA, this is a third quarter score. JA was leading Greenville Christian comfortably 47-12. Let me give you some other partial scores, and some of these are quite interesting. In the third quarter, Tupelo was ahead of Oxford by the score of 35-0.
Ooh.
I'm really surprised at that. Not the fact that Tupelo's leading, but the fact that it's that margin, that does surprise me somewhat. Here's a fourth quarter score. I've got Meridian over Pearl. Well, I'd like to hear about this one, but 58-20 in the fourth quarter.
And it's Meridian over Pearl?
Pearl, yeah, that's what I've got. Fourth quarter, South Panola 34, Olive Branch 14. Fourth quarter score, Wayne County is ahead of Florence by the score of 21-15. That's a close game.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, Macomb 34, South Pike 6. Also in the fourth quarter, Oak Grove over Petal 28-20. Also fourth quarter, Hancock 35, St. Martin 21. Fourth quarter, Clinton was ahead of Starkville 28-20. Now, that game's been playing for a while. That's got to be close to being through. Also, this is a little surprise, too. Fourth quarter, Madison Central's ahead of Grenada by the score of 21-14 is what I have. So, in that game, I think Madison Central got out really early, but, Grenada's kind of hung in there.
Yeah. It's an interesting night of football tonight.
Well, it is, and we're in the second week of true district play, which makes all the difference in the world. Let's see. Also, third quarter, DeSoto Central shutting out Horn Lake 34-0. Fourth quarter, Vicksburg is leading Provine 14-6. Fourth quarter, Gulfport 41, Pascagoula 17. Stone in the fourth quarter is leading Moss Point 31-18. Now here's a good game. Laurel is ahead of Brookhaven 7-6 in the fourth quarter.
7-6.
7-6.
That is a low-scoring game.
Sounds like a baseball game.
It does.
Fourth quarter, West Jones 41, Natchez 7. Halftime score, Germantown was leading Murrah 27-7. Now, I don't know why we just always have as a halftime score, but that's the last I could find.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, South Haven 27, Hernando 7. Fourth quarter, Lumberton ahead of Richton by the score of 20-13. Fourth quarter, Philadelphia 27, Mize 14. Also fourth quarter, Enterprise 21, Morton nothing. Third quarter, Puckett is ahead of Pisgah. That's a real Rankin County matchup there. Right. Puckett 21, Pisgah nothing in the third quarter. Columbia was ahead of Summerall 27-0 in the third quarter. Bay Springs was shutting out Enterprise 46-0 in the third quarter. And one last third quarter score, Mendenhall 12, Scott Central nothing. So that's kind of what I have for the moment. Now, I know we missed you last week, but you did call in.
Yeah.
But you've got some 8-man conversation tonight about 11:30, roughly?
Yeah, 11:30. We should have a coach on right now, and I'm trying to get back to him right now, but I think it's going to be North Sunflower Academy coach Ricky Smith there for talking about his team this year. They're undefeated, so, they're looking really sharp, but still waiting on an update on that, but I think that's the route we're going for the 8-man segment tonight. Okay, well, sounds good. Again, we'll remind you that the number to call in to give your report on a game or to ask a question, 1-877-MPB-RING. That's 1-877-672-7464. Chris?
We've got Reed Vance on the line. Talk about that Warren Central.
Okay. Reed, are you with us?
George, good to talk with you.
Yeah, well, tell us about that game because I haven't been able to find a score. You were the first to give a report on that one.
George, I've got some breaking news for you in that case. It's the final score: Brandon 21, Warren Central 3.
Wow.
Yeah, this game was between two teams that, quite frankly, had scored a lot of points. I think both teams had 3 games where they scored 40-plus points, and it just didn't pan out that way. Warren Central took an early lead on a field goal midway through the first quarter, I should say, and then Brandon scored 3 consecutive touchdowns in the second quarter. There was no scoring in the second half at all. And each team played, I think, really kind of a sloppy game, lots of penalties. Neither team looked as sharp as they had over the first 4 games of the season. I think it could have been closer. But, Brandon's got a really good football team. We've heard a lot about them. Mm-hmm. They're number 1 in some of these polls, and I think probably for good reason. Certainly got a lot of talent, but I think even their coaching staff's going to look back and say, hey, we made some mistakes tonight that cost us some points on the board, just like Warren Central as well.
Now, Reed, that game was at Warren Central, correct?
That's correct. At Warren Central, had a great crowd, beautiful weather, of course, and tough loss for the Vikings. They'll have to bounce back. They're going to Northwest Rankin next week, and I think Brandon has Petal at home next week.
Right.
I heard George a couple of weeks ago. I heard somebody say, and we were just talking around in the press box. I heard somebody say that everybody in 6A was kind of playing for second place this year because Brandon was that good.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon is really good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not really buying that particular sentiment. I think there are some teams out there that can beat them, and especially if, again, some of the mistakes that they made along with the Vikings tonight are muted, or I should say they're duplicated in games going forward.
When you say mistakes, do you mean like penalty mistakes or turnovers? Okay.
Penalties. We only had 2 turnovers in the game, 1 interception by Warren Central, 1 fumble by Brandon. The interception didn't directly lead to a touchdown. The fumble did not. But it really was penalties. Mm-hmm. And Warren Central made more than their fair share tonight, and they just weren't able to get anything going offensively. Brandon made some penalties. If they hadn't, they could have scored more than the 21.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you calling that in because that was obviously probably the marquee game of the night. Both those teams undefeated, and Brandon going on the road and getting a win against Warren Central. I think it's, whatever you say, it's kind of impressive that they held the Vikings to just a field goal.
Yeah, I do too. And, I think if we had a game where both teams played clean football, I think we would have had a game where, each team in the mid to upper 20s in terms of the scoring.
Right.
But at the end of the night, Warren Central could not get around those mistakes, and Brandon found a way to.
Okay. Reed, thanks for the report. Really appreciate that. Thanks for calling in and being part of our Friday night.
You bet. Good to talk with you, George.
All right, Reed. Talk to you next week.
All righty.
Well, again, that's Joel. I mean, that's a game that we were kind of looking at. I mean, 21 to 3, Brandon a winner, and as he said, they're the number 1 team in the state right now, and they won over a pretty tough opponent in Warren Central on the road. So that's impressive.
It was their first true test, but Brandon's looking sharp right now. Next week against Petal, so we'll see how that game ends up.
All right, well, we've got almost time for a break. We'll get Russ in here in just a few moments. Again, the number to call is 1-877-672-7464. I almost got my notes too far away that I couldn't see with my eyes. But that's the number to call, and we will have a lot more segments, a lot more people to call in and talk about their particular games, and a lot more updated scores. Remind you that we've got, Kerry Metzler coming up, Matt Tams, Greg Flynn, and a whole host of others. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment with more Friday Night Under the Lights.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Ranked #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Get your school on the network now.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet.
I think I need my, there we go.
There we go.
I'm
There we
fading
go.
in there. I'm here. I'm hiding under the trash can over there, but I'm here. Glad to have everybody with us tonight, and we'll be here until midnight tonight. Boy, do we have a show. I mean, we have got a show at 11 o'clock tonight. Going to be talking to Johnny Mims, who will have the press conference this week about the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star Game and also the Bernard Blackwell All-Star Game. FNUTL will be, that's Friday Night Under the Lights for those that don't know it, it's slang. But FNUTL will be live streaming it. It'll also be on the NAC website, Mississippi Association of Coaches. Hard to believe that we're already in October talking about these two games.
Well, we're sitting here and we were debating before we got started if this was week 5 or week 6, and we decided it was week 6. Now, your outline says week 5, but knowing you, that's a good sign that week 6 is correct. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm normally behind a week on everything anyway. So, but yeah, we and then of course our coach of the WSN Live interview tonight in the coach's corner is Tony Vance from Hattiesburg, and we're going to ask him how in the world he can go through a season and lose 3 quarterbacks every year. I just don't know, and one of them's his son. So, but they're bouncing back. Chris.
We have Kerry Metzler on the phone.
Hello, Kerry, my friend. How are you tonight?
Oh, Russ, I feel like I was in a duck line tonight calling a ball game.
A duck line?
Look at your phone.
Yeah.
And in the press box,
yeah.
I got the right idea of putting mesh logos on the windows.
That was not a smart idea.
Whoever come up with that idea, they need to go there and try to call a ball game out of that. Dude, it's the worst ever. We think we won because the scoreboard said 49-7. I think it's week 5. It might be week 6. I don't know. Y'all got me so confused when I had to did we win tonight? We won. 49-7. Okay, that part I can tell you.
Well, how did your...
Hey, I'll take the cabana any week, man. I want the cabana back.
Heinz had him in a cabana a week ago.
Yeah, boy, the cabana's good stuff, George. You should have seen it.
I can imagine.
But I'm not joking. It was hard to see tonight. That picture there is probably the best one I can get. I mean, there's some that is bad. Anyway, the guy came out scored on first possession, 33-yard run by Darnell Smith for fullback. Got him back. Been out a couple weeks. Scored a touchdown. Van Cleef came back, held the ball for a long time, got down, missed the field goal. Ty came back after another touchdown, 28-7 at the half. Monte Waller, who got a touchdown, fumble recovery, scoop and score last year in the state championship game, had another one tonight. Robert Williams with a big hit, knocked the ball loose in the third quarter. He rumbled in. Dante Dowdell, 3 touchdowns tonight. I think 9 rushes, 227 yards. The last 3 times he ran for touchdowns. The last one, 97 yards. He had a 98 yards last week, 97 yards tonight. Brady Robinson, our junior quarterback. Let me tell you about Brady Robinson, our junior quarterback. This young man, I know you think Pickey run, to do run, and you do run. But I'm going to tell you something. Brady Robinson can sling it, dude. He was 5 for 5 tonight, on the money with everything he threw some really beautiful passes, and that's an element we haven't had in a while, and he makes us a much, much better ball club on offense for the way he plays.
Well, it sounds like he makes you two-dimensional now, and it hasn't been. You're right. I mean, it's been, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, seems like forever, and that's how you won the state championship last year, but sounds like he brings that new dimension.
Well, I don't know about 3 yards in a cloud of dust. A lot of times it's 7 or 8, sometimes 97, but seriously, I'm picking at you, Russ. I know your weeks are all messed up, but it gets right down to it. The Springtime team's starting to click a little bit on offense. A young offensive line that's really starting to gel. Robinson, the quarterback, got Smith back, and now they'll run the football with a lot of authority. Defense is probably the strong suit of this ball club. They're really strong. I've told you numerous times, one of the fastest defenses I've ever watched in Picking Room Time football since I've been doing this for about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah, right. About 4 or 5 weeks into the season, yeah. Well, I tell you, it looks like, and Carrie, everywhere I go around the state, and we always talk high school football, and everybody is saying that the 5A title is yours to lose. I know it's early in the season, but that's what people are saying.
Well, Russ, you and I know better to even think that way. Coach Stogner, one thing I'll say about Cody Stogner I love, 2 things. He always tells us at the end of the postgame, we'll be on time next week. And number 2, they start the week 0-0. And when I say that, Russ, it's real. You go to the locker room, you watch how they prepare, you watch how they take week to week. They truly look at things. They don't look ahead of nobody. And they know it's a long, hard run to get back there again. Hopefully that's going to work for them. They've had really, really good preparation, but it's a lot of football yet to be played, and if this team can stay healthy, Russ, they got a shot, but they got to stay healthy.
Well, of course, that's the main thing these days is staying healthy, and it's a tough thing to do, but you're on now to the next one. Who's the next on the hit list?
Being home next week, the first of 3 home games in a row, we're going to take on a very, very good East Central ball club next week.
Well, we will certainly wish you well on your weekend of football this weekend, and look forward to catching up with you on week 16 next week.
I was going to say, was it going to be 14 or 13? But who cares?
We'll get it straightened out by now. George, he'll pull out the calendar and straighten me out on it.
There you go. Take care, guys.
Thanks, bro. Bye-bye.
I got a couple of more scores. Let me throw them in before we get to Ty.
Okay.
Clinton did beat Starkville tonight. 35-28 was the final there.
Whoa.
Oak Grove defeated Petal 31-20. It was South Panola over Olive Branch 34-14. That's now final. And Stone defeated Moss Point 45-18. That is final.
Is South Panola lost a game yet this year? I can't remember.
I don't really think
so.
They have.
I don't think so either.
Not that I remember seeing.
Could be the big return.
It may be.
I went last week to Danny Davis invited me to the Touchdown Club at Clinton. They have this meal on Wednesday.
Right.
And David Bradbury was
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, he was the speaker, and he was talking about a couple times going up there to play them in that in the semifinal game. And we would always be up there with those 2 huge speakers, and they had that crazy tiger cat screaming every time they scored. And it's just all night long as tigers screaming at you. It's a long, long nights there in South Panola. They may be on their way back, and who knows? Still a lot of football left to play, but Good report there from Kier. I'll tell you, Picayune looks good.
Picayune looks awfully good. That's for sure. In 5A.
I think they could play teams in 6A and do well.
No doubt they could. Yeah.
In fact, I think they've played D'Iberville this year. I think. So that's a 6A. All right, let's go to the telephone. By the way, they've canceled or at least postponed the street dance in Crystal Springs for a reason. Hey, Todd, turn your radio down there, big boy.
I heard that, man.
Well, it's a sad time in downtown tonight.
Yeah, it is. We got worked by Raleigh 59-6.
Well, now look, you got to understand. Todd, turn your radio down. I'm getting some feedback on it. You got to understand now. This Raleigh team got throttled by MRA last week, and so they weren't in a very good mood to begin with.
Yeah. And them losing 2 players. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they did. They lost a player last week. They sure did, and the coach lost his mom. And we had him on the Scoreboard show last weekend. As super guy, and tough time for Crystal Springs tonight. So next week is who for the Tigers?
We got McLaurin.
At home?
At home.
I would be preparing the band for downtown Crystal.
Russ, did you get the score in between Hazelhurst and Weston?
Oh, you mean the final score?
I saw it. It was a very high score. What was it, Ty?
The score was Hazelhurst 75, Weston 21.
Yeah.
75 points?
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And you know what? Weston's not that bad. They're not that bad.
Well, Hazelhurst was pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're 6-0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember the year they won the state championship, man. They were Coach Montgomery in that group. You remember that group, Ty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Really,
I do.
really,
Yes.
really good
Yeah.
coach. Well, I hope you get McLaurin at home. When is y'all's homecoming? Is it already over?
Yeah, we had homecoming last week.
Okay, last week. Okay, so you lost one tonight, but you get back on the field next Friday night. We'll look forward to having you. I don't even know if you can say hook 'em horns anymore because now I'm wearing a bag over my head during all the ball games.
Well, matter of fact, I'm going to watch State, hoping that State beats A&M tomorrow.
You have my blessing, sir. If anybody I want beat, it's Texas A&M. Thanks, Ty. We appreciate you, bud.
No, hook 'em horns.
A tradition's tradition.
That's right. You can't mess with it.
No.
A lot going on tonight. You'll have your Crazy Eights section. You got a coach tonight?
It is North Sunflower Academy coach Ricky Smith. Hopefully,
That's really good. You know, I was at the you weren't here last week. We did the piece on Josh Hubbard from MRA. And while I'm there, Termy Land, who is the head of school there, comes over to me and says, I hear Joel Norris and his Crazy Eights every Friday night. And he said, I like Crazy Eights because he said, I graduated from North Sunflower. And he said, we won the state championship that year. So
up in Drew, Mississippi. They're looking really good. I also have an upset tonight that involves that district.
So. Well, let's hold it until then.
Yeah, okay? For sure.
A lot of folks tune in. Hey, we want you to call in tonight. Maybe you've never called the show, but dial 877-672-7464 and let us know what ball game you're at and what school that you follow. Also, Dr. Dave Shouse has got some big announcements coming up here in the month of October for Friday night under the lights, and we're going to revamp the website, and I think everybody knows by now they can pick us up anywhere in the state on MPB Think Radio. I mean that's a given. It's been a given for all these years, but now we're also on Roku and Fire Stick and YouTube and Facebook, and it just keeps going. And Chris Saxon's producing tonight in studio, and Liz is back tonight.
Yeah,
Liz is back tonight.
She's back tonight.
And her prize for getting COVID was she got a week off in Seattle. So I mean, you do what you have to do, I guess, huh? Got the thumbs up from Liz. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back in the 10:30 hour, Greg Flynn, Ray Coleman, and your calls and scores coming up. Keep it right here.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Ring #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson here along with George Broadstreet. Joel Norris is also here. Ty Bailey is taking your calls at 877-672-7464. Glad to have Ty back. And Chris Saxon is producing, Liz producing for MPB Think Radio tonight. If you're driving around and you're wanting to hear the show, and maybe you don't know where to pick it up, if you're in the Meridian area, it's WMAW. That's 88.1 FM. That's in Meridian. And in the Greenwood area, up in the Delta, it's WMAQ, and that is 90.9. And if you're down on the coast tonight and driving around, you want to hear the Scoreboard show and find out who won, who lost, WMAH in Biloxi is 90.3. So those are 3 of these stations. But what I just tell people to do is go to as far left to the dial as they can, hit the scan button, and they'll find us. We're there thanks to MPB for carrying us in this wonderful studio that we're in. So
hey, I've got some scores.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Let me give you. These are some finals now. Tupelo did defeat Oxford 35-0.
What?
Yeah, 35-0. You haven't heard some of the stranger ones yet. Madison Central defeated Grenada 21-14. That's a final. Now, this is a final I had, and maybe Greg Flynn will call us. Maybe he won't. But
he's going to.
Greg's on the phone.
Well,
Greg's on
he
the phone.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. That's a good lead-in because the final I had is Meridian 72, Pearl 20.
No, I can't.
Let's hear from the true voice.
Greg Flynn joins us.
Hang on just a second.
All right, Chris going to get him through the last.
No, I got to wait. He's not quite there yet.
72.
That's what I
I know Meridian's a much better football team this year than they were last year, but they got a lot of seniors on that team. I was reading an article about that back there in the summer, and they felt like it was one of the best Meridian teams they've had there in some time, and. So I called Greg, to set him up for tonight, and he was really looking forward to that game. So we're searching for Greg.
Here we are.
Oh, yeah, there we are. You there with us, there, big boy?
Russell, how are you?
I'm good, Gregory. How are you?
Oh, well, it's a long ride back from Meridian tonight. Boy, those Wildcats certainly played very, very well, 51-27, and their running back Daniel Hill is phenomenal. I mean, he had 29 carries, 138 yards. He's just a load to bring down. He's really, really good. But, we had some really bright spots, too. Our running back, Jamarion Turner, had his best game of the year. Almost went toe-to-toe. He had 27 carries for 120 yards. But, Hill scored 4 touchdowns. So it was, they punched Pearl in the mouth in the beginning. Pearl just came in like wide-eyed, and it was 22-0 before you could blink. And then we got it to within 8 points, and they just kind of pulled away.
Well, and let me ask you something. Is that running back a senior?
Daniel Hill, no, he is a junior.
Okay. Well,
their big wide receiver, Quindarius Jones, is going to Florida State. He's a senior. He didn't really have too much of an impact tonight other than returning the second half kick for a touchdown, which kind of took the wind out of the sails of the Pirates.
Yeah. Well, we talked about, the schedule and that whole region over there. I mean, it's just brutal. And especially going into Ray Stadium is always a treat.
And it was weird tonight because it wasn't a really big crowd, and it's such a cavernous stadium that it was so quiet that it didn't even feel like a high school game. For most of it. When the band wouldn't play, it was like silent in there.
Huh. That is strange. That is strange. So that's...
you can fit I think the place can seat almost 12,000 people.
Yeah, something like that.
There was probably only maybe 2,000 there total.
Everybody had a good seat.
Well, they did have a good seat, and they did get to see their team play well. They played Northwest Rankin very close, and then just kind of ran away with it there with some opportunistic plays. And Meridian's very good. I mean, they've always got the athletes, and tonight, they condensed their playbook. All they really did was put Hill back there. Sometimes they put him at quarterback, and sometimes they had him at running back, and it was just like run 2 plays. It was like give it to Hill, and you can't. It was very, very difficult to bring it down. So strong. Very, very.
Go ahead, George.
Well, I was going to say, Greg, just 51-27. That was the final, correct?
It was 51-27.
All right.
Pearl came down and scored. Last drive that we got the ball back with 40 seconds and threw a bunch of good passes and threw some points on the board, which you never know could play a factor
with
the playoff time when you're talking about points and point differentials and all kinds of wacko stuff.
That's true. All right, so who's up next for Pearl?
Terry next week at home. So Bulldogs, it's kind of like Meridian. No matter how you think it's going to go, Terry is one of those teams that has always given Pearl fits. So
that's why they play the games.
It is. Just curious, did Brandon hold on to win tonight?
Yes, they won 21-3 over Warren Central.
Gotcha. And how did that Northwest game turn out?
The report I have is Northwest beat Terry 45-28.
All right, and one. I hate to do this to you, but how about the Oak Grove?
Oak Grove won. They beat Petal 31-20.
So Petal's 0-2.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll probably hear from Harold later on. Hey, Greg, thanks a lot. Hey, be safe, my friend, on the way home. Get home safely.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anytime.
All right, we'll call at you next week.
So we've got Ray Coleman.
We were talking about that Clinton era team just a moment ago, and Ray, you and I kind of texted back and forth today, and one of the things that you said was, we're going to find out just how good this Clinton team is, and if they're a contender or a pretender. And from the sounds of things, it sounds like they're a contender.
Yeah, they're definitely contenders, and they have a flair for the dramatic. The older I get, the less I like surprises. I like things to be, plain and mundane. And that's just about the arrow way right now, man. But I will say this. It was a back-and-forth contest, but these young men proved tonight that they can handle adversity. Things were getting a little crazy with penalties and just the back-and-forth play. And it got very emotional at one point, but these young men locked in and found a way to come away with a win against a really, really good Starkville squad. I know they're 0-2 in regional play, man, but that Starkville squad is going to give teams problems the entire year.
Ray, we've been talking about the errors from the start of the season, and the big question mark for this team has been at quarterback. Okay.
Yeah.
Has that been answered, or are they still searching, or is this young man coming into his own as a quarterback? What's going on with the quarterback situation in Clinton?
Well, there's no doubt about it that Jordan Battie is their quarterback. I think the big question or the bigger point that's been made now is that they don't want to have to focus on being a pass-first team. What they have done is just understood that their strength is in the running game, and you can dominate time of possession, field position, those type of things. We have an excellent running back in Jacoby Calvin. In my opinion, one of the top 2 backs in the state. Tonight he had 19 carries for 196 yards, right? So he gashed the Starkville defense. But more importantly, he kept the time of possession on our side where we limited the possessions, man. But I'll just tell you, Starkville, they lost their top quarterback, Trey Petty. He was ejected from the game, 2 personal foul calls. Their backup quarterback, Jalen Ruffin, was the one who did the real damage. When Petty left, they only scored 7 points. And when Ruffin came in, they got better than they were before, man. So shout out to that young man. He had us on the edge of our seats. Like I said, my blood pressure got up a little bit, which is not good. But at the end of the day, Bashawn Malone, who plays DB and receiver for Clinton, made some excellent plays down the stretch at his cornerback spot and really saved the day on a 4th and 15 with a throw to the end zone, deflected it, and gave Clinton that much-needed win to improve to 2-0 in regional play.
Well, it really does help. Catch up with me sometime this week, and I'll share my blood pressure medicine with you.
I need it, man. We all need it after that game. If you're a Clinton Arrow fan, we all need to split it with you.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's a big win for Clinton tonight. Ray, thanks so much, man, and be careful headed home.
Yes, sir, man. Good to hear from y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Ray Coleman. He doesn't like surprises.
No, I'm kind of like him. I don't like surprises either. But that's a good win for Clinton, and just again that whole region in 6A.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's just tough week in and week out because Madison Central. I really thought Madison Central would have beat Grenada, but 21-14 was the final. So you just never know.
Parity.
Yeah,
a lot of parity this year, and not only in the MHSAA, it's in the MAIS. Teams are not blowing people away like they used to. Now, who was that one that scored 75 tonight? 75 points.
That was Hazelhurst.
Hazelhurst.
That's Hazelhurst beating Wesson 75-21. I got some others. Lafayette defeated Saltillo 56-7. We mentioned that Raleigh over Crystal Springs 59-6. But on the other hand, Laurel beat Brookhaven 7-6. So go figure.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about high school football, and you can get beat 7-6 one week and turn around and win 50-0 the next. I mean, that
right.
There's a lot of your schedule has to be kind to you in order to do that. Well, in the next segment, we're going to hear from Jared Schatz about Germantown. We get a Germantown score?
Yes, 27-7 over Murrah. That was the final.
All right, and then Josh West is going to call us about Tri-County.
And they won.
Yeah, big surprise. Another night.
But not by a whole lot. It was close.
Really?
Yeah. 26-19. They beat Carroll Academy.
Carroll's given them problems over the years.
Good team.
Yeah, and then Joseph Craven is going to call in from Hartsfield. They were playing Greenville Christian tonight, I think.
No, it was
Jackson Academy.
Playing them.
Jackson Academy was playing Greenville Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, and so who was Hartfield playing?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, because Joseph will tell us, but JA won big.
Yeah, JA was ahead 47-12 in the third quarter.
Yeah, and I think it pretty much ended that way. But Tommy Barnett's going to call and give us a report, and we want to hear from you. You may have never called the show before. We want you to call it 87. It's toll free 877-672-7464. That's 877-672-7464. We're going to be here until midnight. We're going to be talking with Johnny Mims of the Mississippi Association of Coaches at 11 o'clock, and we're going to be talking All-Star games. So keep it right here, and be sure to drive safely. The weather's gorgeous tonight. I mean,
it is.
It's not cold. It's not
first really football night we've had.
I agree. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back with more Friday night Under the Lights in a moment.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Every day at Malone, we exist to improve our community. Embracing technology, empowering people, striving to be better than yesterday. Malone Roofing Services and Friday Night Under the Lights have been impacting Mississippi for decades with the skill and dedication that has developed lasting relationships in our respective fields. For roofing, metal walls, and maintenance, Malone Roofing Services has you covered. Find out more on social media and at ecmalone.com. But for great football, it's Friday Night Under the Lights.
Get your school on the network now.
I started at 23 with nothing but me. And I believe roofing should be a profession and a career. Generations of Malones have proven that there is nothing we can't accomplish. Malone protects people and your things that matter most.
Faces for radio, and so we'll leave it at that. And want to bring in. So got a couple of callers. Did you say Josh West was up first?
Yeah,
correct.
Josh is on the phone. You ready?
All right, Josh. This game was closer than you thought it would be, or about what you thought it would be.
Oh, that is an understatement, Russ. Rebels survived tonight. Tri-County survives at Carroll, as you heard. 26-19. We jumped out early. To come back, score, cut it to 6.
You must be on the road, Josh. Did we lose him?
I think we may have.
Yeah. I want to hear about that game, too, because that Carroll always gives them problems. Josh, keep trying to call back in. We lost you. Let's go to Mike Peterson from Hattiesburg, and hopefully Josh will give us a call. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Oh, Russ, anytime you win a region game on homecoming, it's a great night.
It is a great night to be sure. Tell us about it.
Won tonight by a score of 40-0. Our offense is now getting in sync. Coach Vance's son, Deuce Vance, had another good game tonight at quarterback. His injury doesn't seem to be affecting him now. Malcolm Boykin scored a couple of touchdowns, had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So things are looking good for the Tigers right now.
Well, and we talked about that after you lost those I call them preseason games, where actually you go out of conference, out of region, whatever, the first 3-4 games of the year, and you and I both said, give Tony Vance a chance to get to the region, and he may be sitting at the doorstep in the latter part of October.
You're absolutely right. And, he could have, a couple of years ago when they was making the schedule, probably could have padded his schedule. But, there's no shame in losing to a Petal, Oak Grove, Meridian, and an Ocean Springs.
Correct.
I mean, those 4, 6A teams right there, those games aren't going to do anything but help Hattiesburg going forward.
Well, and we've got Tony on our coach's corner tonight. I'm glad you won 40-0. He'll be in a pretty good mood, I would assume. But
he'll be in a great mood. It started off not in a very good mood as we kicked ourselves in the foot. Had a couple touchdowns called back. Just offsides, penalties. Wasn't a good first quarter, but after that, settled down and put it away.
Well, and the Tigers, one of the questions I'm going to ask Tony is, when was the last time you went through a season and didn't have a quarterback hurt?
Oh, that's exactly right.
I think Calvin Coolidge was president back then.
Could have been, but I tell you what, having Deuce Vance just be under center is, I mean, it's like night and day. Now, statistically, he's not having great games, but he knows where to put the players on offense, and he gets them where they need to be, and that's the important thing.
Well, so you got homecoming out of the way, and now, you get down to brass tacks. Well, who's up next week and where?
Got a tough one next week. Go to Florence next week. I think Florence lost a nail-biter tonight at Wayne County, but tell you what, Florence is one of the that's the most talked about team in the state right now. Going from 1-10 last year to where they are now, it's gonna be a tough one next week.
We had their coach on earlier this year, and he likes his team, he likes his program over there, and don't be surprised, if you come late October, early November, that they're still in the hunt.
Oh, nothing will surprise me in high school football.
No surprise. You just heard Ray Coleman say a while ago, he's getting too old for surprises. He don't want to have surprises anymore. But this is a big win for the Hattiesburg Tigers tonight. We'll be talking with Tony at a quarter till 12. Of course, the press conferences this week for the Miss Al game and the Bernard Blackwell All-Star game.
Looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely. I always see Tony there. But we'll be talking with him tonight. Hey, Mike, thanks a lot for the report. Congrats on the win, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks, man.
Got to talk to Harold here about Petal.
All right, Harold, which Petal Panther team turned out tonight? Because the rumor has it you only got 20 points tonight.
Rumor was that's all we got, guys, was 20 points. It was 21-14 at the half, and Old got the opening toss and elected to take the ball, marched it down the field, went up 7-0. Petal turns around, ties it up 7-7. Then they're up 14-7. Oak Grove just has got some speed runners, 14-14. But the ball game just defense was the shining point tonight, but it's just, I don't know about the offense tonight. I can't make many excuses for it except that we are now set 0-2 in the division, but with Pearl.
Well, and of course, they had a rough night tonight as well. But Harold, as you know, it's a long season, and you pick up a win or two here, and you're back in the thick of things. And who knows?
And the way I hear with Brandon, when it's just 21-3, you don't know what it's like. Mike was talking about, and everybody, Wall picks up a 7-6 win over a Brookhaven team. But did y'all know, how did Terry and Northwest Rankin go out, guys?
The report I had is Northwest Rankin defeated Terry 45-28. That was the final.
Okay, so Northwest Rankin is now 2-0 in the division, so they're going to be a good ball club for a good 2-3 club that they are now. Yeah, I was looking for Northwest Rankin not to be as strong, but hey, you don't know, but you can't make any excuses for this. I'm still believing this coaching staff. Don't hold your heads down, guys. Like you said, there's a lot of football left. And we go to Brandon next week.
Ooh.
We get Brandon in Brandon.
Oh, man. Wow. It just gets tougher and tougher, doesn't it?
Well, and then the following week's homecoming against Northwest Rankin.
Oh, man. Well, don't count Devin Cooper out of anything either. He's the head coach over there at Northwest Rankin. And look, Harold, we talk about this week in and week out. There are just brutal schedules sometimes until you get to your region, and then your region's good, and so it just makes a case for that you got to be ready every Friday night, and they'll get that offense going over there, Petal will, and A lot of football left to play, Harold.
Well, let's play, guys. But we'll be listening to the game next week. Like we said, I don't know how those guys put up with me being on the road last week going to Pearl, but it was a fun trip up there to go to that campus and see once again some of the guys at Pearl and visit with them before we left, and got to talk to some of them. So it's fun when you go to some of the opposing schools, guys.
It is. That's what makes high school football exactly what it is. Harold, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all next week. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Joseph Craven to talk about Hartfield.
Hartfield and Park Lane. Joseph, you said you were going to probably find out a lot about this football team tonight. What'd you find out?
Well, we found out this defense is as good as we thought it was. That's what we found out tonight. This Hartfield team will win a lot of games if the defense plays as well as they did against a very talented and very improved Park Lane squad. So it ended up being a 24-7 Hartfield victory. But that was it was 10-0 at halftime, 10-7 after Park Lane answered, and Hartfield eventually able to just kind of keep Park Lane quiet enough to build that lead. It was a heck of a contest. Both teams really put together quite an entertaining ball game for sure.
Well, we're going to talk about Hartfield in a minute, but I'll tell you, Ron Rushing is coaching that Park Lane team, and
yep.
Ron has been successful everywhere he's been, and he's going to make that a better program. They've got a lot of talent on that team, and some of it's young, but their quarterback makes a lot of plays, and so that's a good Park Lane team. But Hartfield offensively, talk to me about who's in that backfield.
The backfield is becoming a little bit more of a steady rotation, and what's interesting is the player that saw the bulk of the carries in the backfield tonight is actually a wide receiver slash linebacker slash kind of do-it-all player by the name of Reed Jaslowski, who is a 6'3", 215-pound, just a freak of nature. He's a beast. He's a beast, and has been playing a lot of slot receiver as just a big physical slot receiver for most of the season, moving into the backfield a little bit more. But what makes it work really well is he wears down opposition, for a few quarters, and then in the third and fourth quarters, we get to sub in a guy, a change of pace guy named John Davis, who is Reed's 6'3", 215. John is probably about 5'8", but probably about 200 pounds himself in a bowling ball, and he can wear people down. So that's been nice. It's a work in progress a lot of times with the running game behind as the Hawks have really leaned on a strong arm of quarterback Trip Maxwell and a deep receiving core. But that's the backfield right now, and they're starting to get their footing a lot more.
Well, and the conference kind of opened up a little bit for you tonight with Prep going down to MRA, and so little jockeying of position over there. A lot of football left to play, Joseph, and who knows what's going to happen. I think parity in this league is something else this year.
No question. And I tell you what, though, we have just a really delightful rest of the schedule that we have to deal with. JA next week. I think Greenville Christian is mixed in after that. Then it's Jackson Prep, and then it's MRA to end the regular season. So really easy rest of the schedule for us.
Well, I do think that Hartfield is going to be in the top four. I do. And you do that, you get that the first two will get the bye, but you play for a chance to win a championship, and that's what you guys are going to do. Joseph, we got to run, but thanks a lot for the report tonight. Congrats on the win, and we'll talk to you next week after the JA game.
All right, we appreciate it now.
Thanks, Joseph. Well, we're going to come up to the 11 o'clock hour with Johnny Mims of the MAC, and we're going to talk all-star football games coming up in December. Back in a moment.
a supporter of America's small business community. We assist with business credit, COVID-19 business relief packages, and strategic planning. More information at www.fastcorporatecredit.com.
This is MPB Think Radio. Mississippi is our mission.
And got Johnny Mims on the phone, Russ.
Oh, Johnny Mims, who is the executive director of the MAC, Mississippi Association of Coaches, and he handles the 2 All-Star games at the end of the year. We're talking about the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game and, of course, the Bernard-Blackwell All-Star game, which is always down on the coast. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. How you doing, Russ?
We're doing good. Good, so much good football going across the state, Johnny. I think we're going on the Mississippi Owl game. I think we're going to match up pretty good.
Well, Russ, we hope so every year. You know, they always got a lot of talent over there, and always a good game. But we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. First of all, let's get first things first. We're going to have the press conference from the MHSAA on Wednesday, which will be streamed on FridayNightOnTheLights.com and also the MAC website. We've set that up. So tell me a little bit about the press conference and why you put that press conference together.
Well, you know, it's such an exciting time for all the players and coaches throughout the state, and you know, these coaches of these respective teams, our Mississippi staff and then our Bernard-Blackwell North-South staff, were actually picked last year at our March board meeting. So they've done a lot of homework, watched a lot of film, spent a lot of hours at the MAC office and respective places of where they met. And, you know, that's just a hard job to select football, you know, to all of these players. We have so many in the state, it's just hard to select the players. So they put a lot of time and effort in it. And Wednesday is when we come together and the coaches come together and they select their teams. And we thought, I guess we started this 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just an exciting time for everybody. It's, you know, they put together the teams and we just kind of do what we can to put, you know, what the best team we can on the field to represent Mississippi in the Mississippi-Alabama game, and then of course the North-South game. It's just a lot of work goes into it.
Oh yeah, you don't throw this thing together in a couple of weeks and then go play it. Now, as I understand it, the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game has normally been in the Crampton Bowl, and that I don't think the Crampton Bowl is available this year. So you're going where with it?
Well, actually, you know, we used to play the game in the Ladd Stadium.
I remember.
Stadium. Montgomery made a bid on the game over in Alabama. They moved it to Montgomery, and we've been playing it, like you said, at the Crampton Bowl. And Mobile approached Alabama again, I guess, about this time last year, while we were hosting the game, and showed a lot of interest in wanting the game back in Mobile. And so they have moved the game back to Mobile, but this time we're going back to the brand new home of, I think, South Alabama, the Inside Whitney Stadium. So it's a very big new venue, and looking excited, looking forward to it.
Boy, I'm telling you, that is a nice venue. I always liked Ladd Peoples when we were over there, and I thought the people there in Mobile really, you know, did a good job of putting the ball game together. Now, you know, last year we did lose the game, but we had been on like a 3-game win streak. When these guys pick these players, how much statistics go into this selection committee? In other words, does a coach sit down and go, Well, he's averaging 35 carries a game, and he's getting 109 yards. How do they focus on who they want? Is what I guess I'm getting at.
Well, Russ, as you well know, I'm not a coach, obviously, and I don't try to get into to how they pick them, but I know they talk to all of the colleges in the state, all the junior colleges in the state. They know who the players are, and when they select the staff, for instance, if you're an offensive line coach on the staff, then they compile a list. Goes back to July. And they'll start compiling a list of the top 10 or 12, 15 offensive linemen in the state, and they kind of get that list from all of the coaches from around the state and at the next level, and then they start watching film, and it's just a tough process. I mean, we can only take 40 players on the team, and we have to have at least one player from each district and each classification. So and Alabama has the same rules, so they have to do the same thing. So, but when you start, selecting, I'll give you an example. You can only select 2 quarterbacks. I mean, obviously we have more than 2 quarterbacks in the state, and so a lot of times it's the system that the coaches are running. It's what they plan on doing at the ball game, whether they're a run-oriented coach or a pass-oriented coach or whatever. So that has a lot to do with it. And then, when you start looking at stats, I'm sure they know the stats, but I don't think it's the bottom line of picking of who they're going to get, So it's just a matter of them putting together the best 40 players that they can feel like come together in 1 week. We'll have 1 week to practice them and get them ready to play. And a lot of these players that will play on the team will have played against each other all year long or whatever, but they pretty well know each other,
right?
From just reading about each other and all that. So I think the experience that I had, this is I think my 22nd year doing it. I think it's more important when you get them together is a lot of all these players are the best players on their team,
right?
And or they wouldn't be there. And when you start putting them together, you only put 11 on the team. That leaves a lot of egos on the sideline. So, that's hard to do. And we'll be playing against Alabama, which they'll have, players that have committed to Alabama and Auburn,
right?
And, Florida State, and I can go on and on. But we have the same thing too. So we have a lot of Division I players over here that can play, and it's just, again, I keep saying it's so hard to do because they're going to miss some players. Unfortunately, it's just hard not to. And
nature of the beast.
Oh yeah, it's just nature of the beast. But if the people knew the time and the effort and everything that they put into it, they would appreciate what they do. I take my hat off to all of these coaches in the state, because not only are they coaching their own team and again playing on Friday nights and getting their own team ready, they're putting in extra time too to try to put this team together to represent Mississippi.
Well, the other game then, and now the Miss Al game is going to be the Friday right after the state championship games in December, and then so the next week after that will be the Bernard Blackwell All-Star game. That, to me, has always been a fun one to call because it's kind of like anything goes in that game. And these kids get together and they form friendships they'll keep for life. And there's been some good players come through this All-Star game.
Oh, yes, no doubt. We'll have players that have committed to the Division Ones that will play in the Bernard Blackwell game, and a lot of times, we'll get down there and we'll go, oh my gosh, this kid could have played for us the week before the game.
That's true.
It happens every year, and I say the same thing on a Garner Minshew. I mean, everybody knows him and the story behind him, and he played in the Bernard Blackwell game, and he's a typical example of went on and did great in college and playing in the NFL. So there's a lot of players that play in this ball game that are as good or just as good as the ones that they'll pick for the Mississippi Alabama game. So to play in either ball game is quite an accomplishment for any player. We'll have I want to say we've had 500 and a little over 560 nominations of players that they will have to pick. 40 players for their team. So that's how hard it is.
Well, and I understand you had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to get an honorary captain for this game this year.
Well, I tell you what, Russ, and if people don't know, our honorary captain for our Bernard Blackwell game is a fellow named Russ Robinson. He has been a very trooper for our association, does a lot for the MAC. I call you the voice of the MAC. Always supported us and just can't say enough about how much you mean to our association and what you do for high school football, not just for the All-Star game, but, what you're doing right now for Friday Night Under the Lights and what you do for high school football. It's just, I take my hat off to you and your staff and it's just quite a compliment of what you've done and how many years you've been doing it. So.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I've talked to some of the coaches. They really didn't agree with me punting on second down, but I told them, expect some surprises. No, it's going to be a great.
And while I've got a chance, I want to get a shout out to Chris Saxton, your guy.
Chris Saxton's right over here to my left.
Well, I want to give him a shout out. He's always on the ball and there to support us and support you. And I just want to shout out for him because I know he's somewhere around there and just want to just shout out to my old partner, Chris.
Well, Chris, you want to say anything to him?
Thank you, Johnny.
He's too talkative. Johnny, we look forward to seeing you Wednesday at the MHSAA building there on Clinton Raymond Road. But do the kids know yet?
No. The teams actually have not been chosen, so they will be chosen Wednesday morning before y'all get there, and that's what it is. So, no, the coaches have met and they've discussed it. They've got an idea, but they will ride this thing as long as we can, as long as they can, because it's a lot of pressure on them to win these ball games, so it's just again, I take my hat off to these coaches and the time they put into this. They take a lot of pride in what they do, not only at their high school, but they take a lot of pride in these all-star games.
Yep.
And the Mississippi-Alabama game is the longest interstate all-star game going on.
Yep. Right.
Consecutive games. So we're proud of that, and we got a good relationship with the state of Alabama. And as you well know, we got it worked out to where we can alternate it now, and we host it every other year in the state of Mississippi. And it's just a good relationship between both states, and the support I get from the MHSAA, Ricky Nees now as being the executive director. We just, it's just quite a very, very good relationship that we're all around. And it's not only we're a coaches association, I like to promote my coaches, but this is a good time to showcase the talent in the state of Mississippi and all of the players that we have in the state. Oh my gosh, it's just, what a talent-rich state in football. And by listening to your show and listening to these ball games, I happened to go to one of them tonight. I was actually at the Clinton Starkville game tonight, every night, and the talent on the field there tonight is just unbelievable. The way these kids can play, and I know that's throughout the whole state.
Johnny, we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Thank you for everything you do for the MAC, the Mississippi Association of Coaches, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay, Russ. Thank you, and thank you for everything you do for high school sports.
Thank you, sir. That was Johnny Mims of the MAC. Back with scores and your calls in a moment.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Rank #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
It's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Get your school on the network now. TJ, where first?
Where?
Huh? Where? And we're back. Coming up on the phone now, TJ Wary.
Good evening, TJ. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I was, I just want to dispel something here, and you probably know what I'm talking about. Of course, everybody knows TJ Wary has been in this area in the media, sports media. So you know what I'm about to talk about. And there seems to be sometimes, TJ, some professional jealousy, if you will, between people that have different shows. I don't have that. I think it's all about the kids, and it's all about the schools, and as much effort as you can give to them in one night, that's what you need to do. And you have come up with I think a really interesting concept for your show called Friday Night Live. Talk to me about that.
Okay. I can't take the credit for it. It wasn't my idea. I just got asked to host it, and I said absolutely. But it is Mississippi Scoreboard, Friday Night Live. Mississippi Scoreboard is a sports website in town run by Hayes Collins and Paul Fryant. Those guys approached me near the end of the summer, and they said, hey, we've got this idea. Or Paul approached me at the end of the summer and said, hey, we got this idea. Call me in a couple weeks because I was about to go out of town. We were going to link up again. We go to church together. But
right.
I called him, and he said, hey, we have this idea. Come to lunch. Let's talk about it. And we went to lunch. I think it was probably late July, and they pitched me the idea. And this had been tossed around, like, tongue-in-cheek, kind of like someone should do something like this.
Yeah, it would sound good if somebody did something like this.
Yeah. It sounds really, yeah. But so they were saying these things. I'm like, no hesitation. Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's make something great.
Right.
Because if you, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know what the capabilities were, technology-wise. But when we got in there for our dry run 2 weeks ago, it's a really professional setup. And for everybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's basically an NFL Red Zone channel for high school football.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
We are tonight. I think we got to 9 games tonight. I
Wow.
think we showed at least 9 games.
Wow.
And that's the max. But I think last week we might have got to 8, but 9. I think we did a good job with it tonight. There was some overlap. We don't start at 7 o'clock at kick. because halftime is tricky. I still don't know how we're going to feel like 20 minutes for halftime. So like tonight it kind of worked. We started at 8. The MAIS games were about to go into halftime.
Right.
MHSA was still starting late, so we had a really good flow for most of the night. Yeah, there's some good football tonight too. But yeah, that's the basis of the show. That's the idea.
TJ, if people want to watch this show, where do they go?
So we streamed it on Facebook tonight on the Mississippi Scoreboard Facebook page.
Okay.
You can watch it there, and you can watch it on the Mississippi Scoreboard YouTube page, where it's also being live streamed.
Right.
So, and to also get some context, we are pulling live streams from football games across the state. I'm pretty sure that was assumed, but just to get it out there, we're pulling live streams from 3 streams that schools have, and then we're cutting into those games live. That's what we're doing.
You know, TJ, that this thing about covering sports has changed so much in the last 5 years or so, and I just think when you get creative, this is our 32nd year of doing what we're doing, and we just love doing what we're doing. But I think I think your concept is great. I really do, and I think for folks and recruiters and people like that, if they get a chance to look in and see some of the games you're looking at, it just really gives these kids an extra boost of people looking at them and talking about them. And I don't think you can have too many shows like that.
No, I really don't. And it's fun, man. Like being on set tonight, I think we had 3 touchdowns scored within like 5 seconds of each other.
Wow.
Like boom, boom, boom. You know, it's like one of those NFL red zone moments.
Yeah.
Yes, he got one. You know what I mean? You're getting all fired up on set, and it's fun, man. And we had a good show tonight. Everything really worked well. We're kind of getting the hang of it. It's a really cool way. And I don't know if you can get away with it in other states just because, you know, we're small.
Right.
So, you know, everybody kind of knows where everybody is in Mississippi.
Right.
In bigger cities or in bigger states, like, you don't know, like, if you're in, like, Tennessee, if you're in East Tennessee, you really don't know what's going on in West Tennessee, you know what I mean? But if you're in North Mississippi, you kind of know, like, hey, Madison Central's is down by Jackson, and you know, Ocean Springs is on the coast. Like, everybody kind of has a general idea of where everybody is. So it really makes it unique. Especially on a statewide scale. I mean, I suppose you could probably pull it off like in a city, maybe, but I think what we're doing is just awesome. And I love it. I think this is a lot of fun.
I agree with you. And even though now, what time do you go on the air and what time do you come off the air?
We went on at 8:00 tonight. Next week we're probably not going to go on about 8:15, 8:20, just because the games will all be hitting halftime around 8:00.
Right.
And then we go off when our last game ends. So tonight, what was our last game? We were waiting on Starkville Clinton to end and Oak Grove Petal, and then, those are the last 2. And then Pascagoula Gulfport, we had that one too, but it was a blowout. So we just assumed it was over. They were up by like 17, 20 points or something at the end. So, I mean, it was over. So we finished. I think we got done about 10:15, 10:20 when the final games ended.
Very good, very good. Well, TJ, it's good to hear from you. And again, as I told you in my response back to you, if Friday Night Under the Lights could ever do anything for you, please let us know, because it's all about the kids and it's all about the schools and letting everybody know. And people watch all different kinds of shows. I'm an NFL Red Zone guy on Sunday.
Yeah,
and,
same here, man. Same here.
And I think Chris Rose, going with the beard thing was a good thing. I think for the country. But anyway, I don't expect to see you with the beard anytime soon. But I congratulate. I hope Paul Bryant paid for that lunch, by the way.
They covered my lunch for me. It was very nice of them. I appreciate it.
Well, I know Hayes will. You're like, Paul, you just never know. No, I'm just kidding. Those are great guys.
I think it was Hayes'
That's what I'm talking about. I think what you're doing is great, TJ. You keep it up, and we'll look forward to having you back on with us here before the season ends.
You guys having me, and just so everybody out there, if you want to go check it out, the show from tonight is on the Mississippi Scoreboard Facebook page and on the YouTube page. If you want to go rewatch it, there was a lot of good football tonight.
Yeah, there was.
I encourage everyone to go check it out, and then check us out next week.
All right, TJ. Thanks so much, my friend.
All right, you got it, guys. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Bye-bye. TJ Wary. I think that's a great concept.
Yeah, I do too. And it's, it's not a new idea, but it's new in the fact that you're bringing that down to high school football. And I guess the fact that you got so many schools out there that are doing those live streams now, that it's pretty much like their broadcast anyway. They're not broadcast TV, but they're broadcast on the stream.
Well, and even when we started, were just scores, and now we've kind of you can get a score just like that, from somewhere.
Yeah.
But now we're putting the stories to those games. Chris?
We've got Granny and then John Weaver. So take Granny first.
Yeah, take Granny first, and we'll talk to both of them. Granny, where did you wind up tonight?
I was out here in Laurel at Northeast Jones tonight.
What between the bricks?
No, this was in the jungle at Northeast Jones.
Northeast Jones. Did you get that score, George?
Did not.
Oh, good, Granny. You're calling us at a score that we don't have.
Yeah, it was 18-13 Northeast Jones. It was 11-7 at halftime. Northeast Jones was winning, and it was a great defensive game. Fourth quarter, it was still 11-7. Northeast Jones, all they do is run. They wound up breaking one for about 35 yards around the end. I think Quitman's defense got a little tired. They'd been pretty much keeping them in check all night, and they couldn't stop him going around the end. So that tells me they were getting a little tired. Okay, so it goes 18-7 Northeast Jones. Quitman's quarterback comes back, throws a 70-yard bomb for a touchdown right down the middle. 70-yard bomb. Left-handed quarterback now, left-handed. Okay, 18-13 Northeast Jones. Quitman has another chance with about 2 minutes to go, and the quarterback is scrambling for Quitman, and he runs toward Quitman's sideline, his own sideline, and he waits till the defensive player that's chasing him puts his hands on him, and then he tries to throw it. Well, you can't get nothing on it when you do that.
Right.
And Northeast Jones intercepted the pass. Okay, and then Northeast Jones just ran out the clock and won it 18-13. A big win for Northeast Jones.
That is a big win, and you got to love defensive games. You just do.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just slugfest. We got to run. I appreciate the call.
Big win for Meridian tonight.
Was that ever?
Russ, I'm on 88.1. I'm listening to you on 88.1. I'm in Stringer Bay Springs area.
Whoa! Liz, that's a shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
MPB covers the state, don't they?
They do a great job, man.
All right, Granny, have a great weekend. We're going to run. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Jared Schatz now.
Jared Schatz with Germantown. Talk to me about the Mavericks, my friend.
Well, hello, guys. Hope you're well tonight. I'll be honest, we thought we were going to go home and watch the Red Zone channel with TJ Wary. I'll tell you why. Murrah did not show up till 7:10. Kickoff 7:30. We've got a packed homecoming crowd. We're just sitting there twiddling our thumbs, guys. Murrah gets off the bus. What an entrance. They get off the bus and they score first, make it 7.
Oh, man. Wow.
Oh, gosh.
That's a ploy a lot of teams may want to look into.
Absolutely. I guess it made Germantown mad. They reeled off 37 unanswered after that. Murrah would add a score late. And this was a game, poor Murrah hasn't won a conference game since 2018. They didn't play in 2020 due to COVID, so they're really reeling over there. But we knew we had to win this game, and really it was a confidence win because, guys, I don't think anybody's got a tougher stretch of games to end the season. Listen to this for Germantown. At Oxford, Grenada, at Madison Central, Starkville, and Tupelo. That's the end of the year.
Oh, man. Wow. Gosh, that's awesome. Very quickly, we're up against the break. Where are you going next week?
At Oxford starts the gauntlet next week.
Hey, the gauntlet will be thrown. Jared, have a great weekend.
You too, guys. See you later.
All righty. We're going to take a timeout. More Friday Night Under the Lights with Joel Norris's Crazy Eights coming up.
When you hear the words blue sky, it means clear sailing. When you stop at a Blue Sky convenience store to fill you or your vehicle up, it'll also be clear sailing. Fuel at competitive prices and a total convenience store with the beverages and your favorite foods that you'll come back for. When you stop at Blue Sky, it means clear sailing. Blue Sky wants you to have a great holiday season and hopes that you enjoyed today's game. Blue Sky, fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Ranked #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet. Joel Norris will be here in just a moment with the Crazy Eights. But let's go to the telephone first, where Tommy Barnett has found an offense. Good evening, sir.
Hey, Russ. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. You found an offense out there tonight.
You know, Russ, we actually, unfortunately, our starting quarterback, Clayton White, was out this week. Held out due to concussion protocol, and, you know, that he suffered in the Philly game last week.
Right.
Junior Maddox Greer, in his first start, Russ, he'd be getting a lot more looks. 7 of 14, 109 yards, 3 touchdowns to 3 separate receivers, and also added another 42 yards on the ground. Jay scored early and often tonight. Of course, a lot of the defense, you know, they kind of took the week off last week against Phila, and but they found themselves again tonight. At the half, it was 33-0. Russ, Greenville Christian ran 20 plays in the first half for 14 total yards.
Wow. What a difference a year makes. All right, very quickly. What do you have coming up next week?
Next week, we host the Hawks of Hartfield Academy.
That's going to be a great ball game, Tommy. I mean,
it's a really good team, and we're like that. I think we're starting to find our groove, and I really think that you know, Russ, I really think in our division, I think you've got the 4 top Metro teams, and I think you could pick a team each week, and I mean, it's the parity is incredible this year.
It is, and that's why your game next week is so important, because that top 4 in the MAIS and 6A is going to be really competitive.
Yep, no doubt.
All right, man, I appreciate the call. We're going to run. Really appreciate you giving the skinny on that tonight.
Hey, Russ, real quick, if you will, I know you and our buddies, keep the J family in your prayers this weekend. We had a bad tragedy this week with the parent of one of our players.
Oh, no.
Like suddenly, actually, his Meacham family, actually their son, Foster, scored a touchdown tonight. So I'm sure Dad was smiling down, but just kind of unexpected tragedy. We'll lay him to rest Sunday afternoon.
Well, you know that you'll have that, my friend. We will keep the J family in our prayers this week. Thanks so much, Tommy. Appreciate you. All right, let's go to Jeff Hager. Jeff,
there it is.
I know, Jeff, there was a lot of football played on the Gulf Coast tonight. Talk to me.
That's right, and first time ever we're doing this one live from your local TGI Fridays and Gulfport. So Anyway, so we had your classic case of Ocean Springs and Picayune just being really good on offense, being really good on defense. I was at Picayune Vancleave. Dante Dowdell was actually the 3rd running back on his own team to score a touchdown, so that just shows you how deep they are. And he, for the 2nd time this year, had a 98-yard touchdown run in the second half.
Good gracious.
Really, and this game it was 49-7 was the final score there, and it could have been more. I mean, Vancleave had a really long drive in the first half where they converted like 3 4th downs, and then I think Dante Dowdell, don't see this very often, actually fumbled inside the 5-yard line.
Ooh.
So really dominating performance. There was an Oregon scout there. I saw Tennessee, Louisiana on the sidelines, and I asked one of them, "Who were you there to see?" And he said, "Everyone." So,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that team very impressive, and then obviously you got to be impressed with Ocean Springs, 40-0 over D'Iberville, and D'Iberville was very recently the class of Region 4 class today. So they look just as unstoppable in 6A as Picayune does in 5A, and then Gaucher doing his thing, 55-6 over Long Beach, and Gulfport looking really stout, 48-28 over Pascagoula. Biloxi 2-0 in district play with a 21-8 win over Harrison Central. So those are just some of the highlights, and we got the 5 games tonight. So a lot of good stuff for us.
Boy, there is a lot of good stuff. Let me ask you this before I let you go: is Picayune better than they were last year, or as good as they were last year?
I think their defense is better, which is a big deal because, their offense, they brought back all their rushing. All they do is run, and they brought back 88% of their rushing from last year. And in all 6 of their games, they have allowed exactly 7 points. And these aren't just, they allowed 7 points to Gulfport, D'Iberville, Vancleave. Tough teams that have beaten a lot of other good teams. So they really, really look good on that side of the ball. And then the offense obviously just does its thing week in and week out.
Well, Jeff, you do a great job for us. A lot of folks listen to the show down on the coast, and they want to know what goes on with those teams down there. And I'm telling you, someone's going to have to deal with Ocean Springs for this thing's all over with, because that quarterback is some kind of good.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend, Jeff. We appreciate the call.
Yeah, you guys too. We'll see you in week 7.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, it's time for Joel Norris's Crazy Eights, and you said you had an upset tonight.
We did have an upset,
and
yes.
we do have a coach tonight.
We do have a coach tonight.
All right, so here's Joel with the Crazy Eights.
Let's kick it off with a forfeit, actually.
A forfeit?
Tensall Academy defeated Northeast Baptist by way of forfeit. Northeast Baptist was limited on players tonight. So now let's get the scores.
Okay.
Christian Collegiate Academy.
It was back and forth. I think we went in up maybe
Our Academy.
Good job. We're going to take a time out, and we'll be back with more Friday Night Under the Lights with the WSN Live Coaches Corner.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Malones are competitive people. Come from a deep line with my father. There were 9 in his family, and they had to fight for everything they had.
My dad didn't allow us to have any quit in us. I mean, everything we did, we pushed hard. This isn't a job to us, it's our passion. We were bred to do this.
Man, that game was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm thirsty.
And I'm out of gas.
But we have to hurry because I have to be home at 11.
No worries. There's a Blue Sky convenience store at our next exit.
Yes, and they're fast and friendly and will get us on the road quickly.
And they have great gas prices.
All in favor of Blue Sky, say aye.
Aye.
Blue Sky convenience stores with locations all over Mississippi and one probably right near you. Blue Sky. They're always fast, fresh, and friendly.
Hey guys, this is my friend Barry.
Unlimited data, Barry?
Ring #1 in customer service by J.D. Power, Barry?
Let me take your coat, you little award winner, you.
Actually, that's my fur. Oh, be careful of the man's fur.
You know I'd love to be there. It's just super far.
That's not that far.
We have unlimited data. We can chat all we want. I'm comfy.
But it's like 10 feet.
Like I said, super far.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools throughout Mississippi stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run, and your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, and we'll get to the Coach's Corner here in just a minute. But right now, I want to bring in John Weaver from MRA. And guys, I got to tell you, you know the night is going to be good when it starts with Tuscan chicken for supper. It was outstanding stuff, and then we had a good football game on top of that. And John, the road still has to go through MRA for the championship, I think.
Yeah, you know, our kids, but man, they find a way.
Yep.
And just with the injuries we've had this year, losing our left tackle, losing our start middle linebacker, losing our starting tight end, man, the kids just find a way. And look, I kept saying, I was like, that 1 point's going to haunt us. That 1 point's going to haunt us when it was 14-13.
Yeah.
But that was just a great high school football game tonight.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. On Old Kent Road. What a great one.
It was a
and
great
one. I think those two teams are going to see each other in November in Mississippi College.
Yeah, I'll have to bring the food for that night. You know, I was really impressed with John White, and I thought it was a great game for both Paxton and John.
Yes, look, two highly talented quarterbacks in the MIS and in the state. Both of them dropping dimes, showing off their feet. Being able to scramble. It was a very, very good football game. So just, it was one of those, like, who's going to break away? Who's going to do this? I mean, it was nip and tuck the whole night. So the 3,500 people that were there got their money's worth.
Boy, they did for a fact. And what a atmosphere that is over there. And, of course, the press box is wonderful. The field is great. And the people and the tents in the end zone. I mean, you got it going over there, and you got a beautiful scoreboard. And I just thought the game was. I thought the first half both teams were so pumped they had some butterflies in their stomach, and
Yeah, and I think you and I talked about that a little bit at length during the week of like the teams I think are going to be so amped up because there's so much evenness in the whole league. It's who's going to separate, who's going to break away. So it's going to be a fun one. And we got 5 more weeks to this.
Yeah, we do. Boy, who's the kid that put the lick on Will Upton coming over the middle?
Oh man, I don't watch much defense. I
know that. You had to have heard that.
I did. I want to say it's Bennett Cloud. I think it's Bennett Cloud, number 22.
That was brutal, but great game. Good offense on both teams. Good defense on both teams. It almost came down to that one point that you and I were talking about, but it gets serious now, John, from here on out because you got a tough one next week.
Yeah, we go down to Hattiesburg, play PCS. They've beaten Hartfield. I don't know what they did tonight. But then we go to Mag Heights, who's having a great season. We come home. Park Lane, Park Lane and Hartfield played a 17-7 game down in Macomb tonight.
That's right.
And then we finished up on Lakeland Drive, actually on Luckney Road, with the Hawks of Hartfield. That's where we close out.
Well, it's going to be a good ride the rest of the way. John, thank you for everything you did for us tonight.
I got to tell you this. I just listened to your Crazy Eights guy. You talked about Fermi, doing coaching and all that at North Sunflower. Guess who else coached at North Sunflower?
Who?
This guy.
You?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
You were at Sunflower.
Yes, when Bill Matthews was there. This is where I learned the spread offense. Bill Matthews, cool story if you got 30 seconds.
Okay.
So, Bill Matthews, Shane Matthews' dad, who knows Steve Spurrier real well.
Right.
I go to North Sunflower to finish my master's degree. Like, look, we'll pay you. We'll also pay you your master's degree. Like, we'll help you pay your master's degree. Like, hey, that's great. Fine. And I learned the spread offense from Bill Matthews, and I go in his office, and Bill's like, hold on, I got a phone call I got to take, and they're talking spread offense, and the sound of this guy's voice sounds really familiar, and the guy's name was Steve Spurrier.
Oh man!
And him and Bill, Bill died during COVID,
right?
And there were many times that I would sit and listen to Bill and Spurrier talk about razor water, cat, dog, all these plays that they have. I'm like, what the heck? So that's where I learned the spread from in Drew, Mississippi, and from Bill Matthews and Steve Spurrier.
Wow. That's a great story, John. Hey, we got to run. We got the coach's corner, but appreciate you, and thanks for everything tonight, John. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Russ.
All righty. John Weaver from MRA. It's time now for the WSN Live Coach's Corner, and one of my favorites in this state is Tony Vance, and he joins us now on Friday Night Live. Tony, we were a little busy tonight. I'm sorry about that, but you know how it goes when you've been doing a show like this for 32 years. People want to get on there and talk about what's going on with their schools. Well, one question I want to start with Tony Vance is, when was the last time you went through a season without an injury to a quarterback?
Oh man, it's been about 2 years.
I thought you were going to say back. Maybe Carter was president back then. I don't know. It just seems like every year you've had difficult time. But now your son was back tonight, correct?
Yeah. His first game back was actually last week, but he did play tonight as well. So
how difficult is it to coach your son?
It's not difficult at all. I mean, he makes it pretty easy for me, and I try to make it easy for him. And we have a pretty good relationship, and so he understands. And he's a kid that's been around football his whole life, so he kind of gets it, and so he makes my job pretty easy to coach him because he knows Dad, and he knows when Dad's got that look on his face. And, he's been around it all his life, so Dad Dad ever has to do is just kind of look at him, and, so that's pretty easy, man. It's a pretty cool deal too. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, let's talk about your schedule, which seems to be brutal every year because you just playing these teams. I call it the preseason or the exhibition or something like that before you get to region. And Tony, obviously, you feel like you playing these games make you a better football team for the run in October.
No doubt. You know, I mean, I think if you're gonna get better, you got to play good people. You know, unfortunately for us, we've been able to beat some of these teams in the past, and of course, we didn't beat them this year or last year. But you know, they made us a better football team. But you know, so there's teams that we feel like we compete with, and you know, makes us that much better when we get into region play because we play in, in my opinion, one of the toughest regions in all of high school football.
I got to ask you, do you remember the center that you had? Oh, was it Jelly Bean?
Jelly, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I went down to your practice one day and I said, hey, just how good is this kid at snapping the ball? And you said, well, get under center there, Russ, and see what. He broke my fingers when he snapped the ball. He was tremendous. Where's he at now?
Man, you know what? I saw his mom a couple of weeks ago. He's still around Hattiesburg. Yeah.
It must be really rewarding for you to see these players go on, graduate, and either get into business or go on into school or whatever, but to know that you had a part in their success.
Definitely, man, and you know, that's why you get into the profession, man, to help young men and watch them grow and become successful in life, and you know, go on to use the things they've learned throughout their football career to help them be successful as a dad, you know, successful as a husband, and you know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
You know, I heard somebody say one day they were talking about, you know, the minimum wage should be this, the minimum wage should be that, and then I heard somebody else go, well, you know what? A coach does not need to get into the minimum wage conversation because when you divide out how many hours you really put in there with the salary, it's going to throw the minimum wage down a little bit. Agreed?
I agree totally, man. You know, it's nothing for a coach to put in 7 to 8 hours a week getting ready for a ball game. So, you know, that's just, you know, if your film study starting on Sunday, sometimes Saturday, but, you know, the time you put in. But, you know, it's all worth it in the end, man. And I sit here, I'm at the end of my career, and this is year 26 for me, and I look back and, you know, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
And you know what? That says it all. I mean, if a coach can say that, you know, and it makes it worth staying up on Friday night till almost midnight to talk about your team. Last question. Do you have enough in this team to make it into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we do. You know, we got to avoid the injury bug. Like I said, we got to try to, you know, get some guys back full strength. You know, my son Deuce, he's not full strength yet, but he's getting better every week. And we just got to keep guys healthy, man, and let's get better every day at practice, and that's always my deal. Let's get better each day at practice, and let's get better each week. And I think we found ways to do that, even through the injuries. We found ways to get better, and you know, our guys buy into what we're doing and the way we're doing it and how we're asking them to do it. And so it's always, you know, great to go to practice every day and knowing that, hey, we're going to leave here better than we're to start practice today.
Tony Vance, you're one of the good ones. I'm telling you, I've enjoyed my friendship with you for many years, and even through the All-Star games and the things that we've done together. And I think Hattiesburg is very, very lucky to have you as head coach over there, and we appreciate you staying up with us and talking Hattiesburg Tiger football tonight.
No doubt, Russ. You're too kind, man. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you before the season's over.
Sounds good.
Thanks here. All righty.
All right.
Tony Vance, and I think we got a little time to get Danny in.
No, Dave Shows.
Oh, Dave Shows. Dave Shows.
You got to go quick.
You got
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds, Dave. Go.
Well, guys, we're getting into October now, the biggest and fastest point. So follow up with us on the website because we're going to have a little bit more work with Joel's Crazy Eights. We're going to also have the FNUTL Wi-Fi Game of the Week. So we're going to have a choice from the WFN network. And then finally, we're going to be having Will the Thrills PowerPoints again. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be madness.
Yes, it is. It will be October madness. Okay.
A scramble to the playoffs.
You bet. You bet.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great weekend. Good night, everyone. It's been wonderful. See you next week.
This forecast is